let's get to the news of the day because I've been dying to hear from you in particular on Kate Middleton. What in God's name is going on there, Dan?
Oh my goodness, where do I start? Well, firstly, I think I'd put a little bit of background to it and say there's been lots of changes behind the scenes in William and Kate's team. Very small team who look after these two people. And I don't think it's working, is the first thing that I would say. Whatever you think about whether people are being too tough on Kate for posting the photo or not, it's just not working at the moment. It was a little bit amateur hour, whereas previously, you'll remember that when there was the big battle going on with Charles versus Harry and Meghan versus William and Kate, they had these slick and amazing PR teams, and they were almost treating each other like Hollywood stars, and it was a big battle, and I've tried to move away from that, and I think it backfired. But what I would say, Megyn, and I know this, Kate is very unwell. She is physically unwell. So there should surely be a little bit of sympathy towards her. And I'm really not seeing much of that online. And I think people are loving it just a little bit too much. Now, of course, there are lots of questions to ask about transparency. And one of the things I'm most excited about, Megyn, in terms of being independent, is I can now report on the royal family without having overlords who are really scared to do that. So what you'll find in the UK is that the newspapers essentially act as stenographers or PR operatives on behalf of the royal family. Now, I don't think that's right. We pay these guys salaries. They deserve scrutiny. So, for example, you know the photo of Kate looking not well in the car next to her mum, Carol, which was published by TMZ in the US. Not one UK newspaper published that picture. Now, that's a little bit weird, isn't it? That's a little bit weird. She's a public figure. She was out in public. Why would they not publish the picture? At the same time, Kate is not well at the moment. There are reasons why she doesn't want to appear in public. I think turning it into an international meme is just a little bit mean. And I especially want to call out Harry and Meghan's team, who used this as an opportunity to brief to their favorite journalists at the New York Post that, oh, this is not a mistake that Meghan would ever have made. I'm sorry, have you seen the pictures, Megyn, of Prince Harry, the official pictures of Prince Harry with Meghan, where all of a sudden he has a full head of hair.
Yes,
so do not tell me that Harry and Meghan do not Photoshop their photos. They do. And in some ways, is there not something quite sweet about the fact that Kate is just like the rest of us? You know, she's there on a little mobile phone using one of those dodgy apps, trying to make
I don't believe that,
look
though.
a bit better.
But that's what I don't believe that, and I think a lot of people don't. I don't believe she even sat for that picture. I don't think that's a real picture that she just edited. Yes, I think it's an amalgamation of other shots involving the family. I don't know exactly how she did it, but look, there's that one picture we've seen of Kate that you just referenced that TMZ put out like 2 weeks ago, it was the beginning of March, and she's in the passenger seat. Over in the UK, that would be our normal driver's seat, and her mom is driving the car, and she looks puffy. Her face looks round, and it's usually very angular and awesome, but she looks puffy, like something's wrong. Like she had, I think about when I just had my kids, I got super swelled up like a tick, and I was puffy all over. That's how she looked to me. And there's no way this picture that they put out 2 weeks later is present day. I don't believe it. She's got all the angles back. We played yesterday how it's identical to the shot that was on the cover of British Vogue. I mean, identical. And there's all sorts of theories about how they did it, but I don't personally, my own personal belief is she did not sit for that photo. And the real question is, how unwell is she that she can't sit for a photo with her 3 children that she would control, that she could Photoshop, that she could cover up herself with? Something's going on.
Well, something is going on. I mean, something very much is going on. She's not well, but in terms of the photo, I'm not sure I agree. Certainly wasn't the Vogue magazine cover. That's been debunked. And the kids do look older. The kids do look older from when that previously been seen. But I think where Kate and William, to be honest, and I'm fans of both of them, Megyn, but where they've been incredibly naive is this is 2024. You can't just disappear for 4 months, Kate. You just can't, especially not when the king, who is battling very serious cancer, is still out there being seen, meeting with the Prime Minister, attending church. So I think there is a real naivety about the management behind the scenes of the royal family. And sometimes this is when you need a strong courtier. And, we've spoken a lot about the courtiers, Megyn, in terms of Harry and Meghan. And, they were all at war, and Harry hated all of William's courtiers. But they were strong people, and they would stand up to the royal family, and they'd tell them what they needed to do sometimes. The problem is now, Kate saying, I'm not going to be seen for 4 months, just doesn't fly. This is the world of social media. And I think what's fascinating to me, and again, it sort of ties into where I'm going, is that the newspapers don't control the narrative anymore. The newspapers are dying. So the newspapers might be doing this PR job for Kate and saying, leave her alone. But the problem is that's not what the rest of the world is saying. That's not what the internet is saying.
She's too big a star. There are armchair investigators all across the world looking at this now. I mean, for all 6 news agencies to pull that photo within hours of it hitting showed how much of an amateurish job it was done. And I'm telling you, Dan, I've got my own suspicions. I know you've got sources and so on, but I'm not in that position. But there's no way, like when you Photoshop a photo, honestly, for me, the most I'll do is like change the setting on it. You can do like add light or put it on dramatic or what, you can do, like I'll do that sometimes just to make it look a little prettier. But I've never done filters. I've never done anything like that. And I've certainly never done anything where like I changed the kid's sweater to where the arm doesn't fit anymore. Like that thing was heavily manipulated. And the question is why? I don't believe she sat for a photo with the 3 children. And I think it's because you're saying she's unwell. But here's the question the audience is going to wonder. How unwell? Because as you know, forgive me, there are people online who believe she may no longer be with us. And I realize that's absurd conspiracy stuff. Okay.
Look, I can absolutely tell you she's alive. There are reasons why she doesn't want to appear in public that are to do with physical appearance. I think what I would say, though, and I'm not trying to undermine at all what's going on, because I would argue the royal family is in arguably its biggest crisis in a generation. I mean, look at everything that's happened since the death of the late Queen 18 months ago. I mean, this is a disaster. There's just been a suicide, a really grim suicide in the royal family as well.
Who is that guy? Can you explain who that guy is, Dan? Because I haven't.
Yeah, of course. So he was the husband of William's cousin. But someone who was close to William. William was at the funeral, and there's lots of reasons behind why he shot himself in the head. But I'm just trying to paint a picture of things are really difficult within the royal family at the moment. Charles has obviously wanted this job for his entire life, and he has been struck down. There's a real cruel irony to that. Camilla's not particularly well. Kate is very unwell. And so there's a lot resting on the shoulders of Prince William at the moment. I guess what I'm certainly going to be thinking about and having conversations about is what level of privacy people like Kate are entitled to, because the newspapers in the UK had always made a decision that they do have a right to privacy. And you've got to remember, I mean, the late Queen was literally dying of blood cancer, Megyn, and no one was told. We all knew, but we didn't report it out of respect to her. And her death certificate said she died of old age. Prince Philip had battled cancer for years and years and years. But of course, there's a great contrast in Charles being this much more modern king and very open about what he's going through compared to Kate. But I just think sometimes what you've got to think about, Megyn, is there are personal health issues which can be embarrassing to discuss, that you don't want the whole world knowing. And does Kate deserve that humiliation? Isn't it her choice if she wants to share it or not? Obviously, there's a real track record in the royal family of some members opening up about their health, Diana and Fergie being examples of that. Others, the Queen, the late Queen, and Prince Philip have kept it secret. So, look, I think there's questions about this, but what certainly is undeniable is that the royal family is in the midst of a PR crisis. There's literally no one there to do the work, and Harry and Meghan are trying to capitalize on that.
Well, you've been hearing me rave about Cozy Earth for a couple of years now, and for good reason. Talking about how incredibly soft and luxurious their sheets are. I am not alone, of course. They have thousands of customers who have left 5-star reviews on their website, including this one from Hallie. Quote, honestly, the best sheets we have ever had. Absolutely a dream to slip into each night. Everyone deserves to splurge on these sheets and you will have no regrets. Cozy Earth sheets, available now in 15 awesome colors, are made from viscose from bamboo, making them temperature regulating so you will sleep cool and comfy year-round. Cozy Earth even offers a 100-night sleep trial. Sleep on them, wash them, try them out, and if you're not completely in love, send them on back in within 100 days for a full refund. Experience life-changing luxury with the world's softest sheets. Go to CozyEarth.com, enter my promo code Megyn at checkout to save up to 35% on Cozy Earth's bedding, pajamas, bath towels, loungewear, and more. CozyEarth.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.